Today on TimesCast, Greece's president makes last-ditch efforts to form a unity government as markets slide on worries of a default.
What's happening now in this complex clash between democratic process and market forces is that they can't form enough of a coalition of parties that are in favor of adhering to Greece's loan agreement. There's a radical left party called Syriza, which came to get 17% of the vote by saying we want to stay in the euro but not with this loan agreement. And critics of this guy are saying you can't have it both ways. Either you have the loan agreement or you leave the euro. And he's saying, Europe, you've said that too many times before. I'm calling your bluff. And by doing that, he's got a lot of support. So what's happening now is the parties run the risk of, if there's a government that wants to stick to the status quo, that doesn't reflect the will of the people. But if they don't stick to the loan agreement, Europe argues, then they will stop giving Greece money, and without the money it will default and leave the euro. So the stakes get higher and higher, but the drama continues. I and my colleague Nick Kulish in Berlin have also reported that there's really a rhetorical war between Germany and Greece, between Europe and Greece, in which Germany is the bad, if you don't do this, you're out of the euro, and Greece says, we can't possibly do this because it's impossible. And, it's behind the rhetoric. I think that it's in everyone's interest to muddle through a little bit longer because no one really wants Greece to exit the euro at this point. The question is ultimately, does it cost Germany more to keep Greece in or for Greece to leave?
In Myanmar, new concerns about a growing drug trade along its border with Thailand.
This is Thomas Fuller reporting for the New York Times from Tachilek in northern Myanmar. For decades, Tachilek has been a hub of drug trafficking, the center of what is known as the Golden Triangle. The specialties here are heroin and methamphetamines, produced in Myanmar and smuggled across the border, mainly to Thailand and other Asian markets. Myanmar's ongoing transition from military dictatorship towards democracy has raised hopes that drug production will decline. Instead, though, Thai authorities are now reporting a surge in methamphetamine trafficking. Seizures of hundreds of thousands of pills have become commonplace. This is Lieutenant Colonel Tanat Chumanu, the head of the police investigative unit in Mae Sai, a city on the Burmese border. Tanat has been working along the border for the past 5 years. It's a dangerous job. He says he's killed a total of 6 suspected traffickers during numerous firefights. Tanat and other Thai officials draw links between the surge in trafficking and the changes taking place in Myanmar. It's a sort of perverse peace dividend, they say. Ethnic groups in Myanmar, who are responsible for the lion's share of the trafficking, are no longer at war with Myanmar's central government, so they're focusing more intensely on drug production.
These minority groups are ramping up production of drugs, which is making the drug situation across from Mae Sai, the Myanmar side, get worse. We are arresting more drug addicts and are seizing huge amounts these days.
The Thai government has responded to the surge in drugs by putting up razor wire along the border and trying to improve coordination between the Thai police and the military, who have the primary responsibility for patrolling the borderline. It's a difficult job. Much of the border cuts through jungle-covered mountains traversed by countless dirt tracks. Smuggling also takes place in less bucolic settings. In Mae Sai, which is directly across from Tachilek, the river that forms the border is so narrow that some traffickers simply throw bags of pills across to the Thai side. Traffickers then travel south through Thailand, where the police at numerous checkpoints try to intercept them. Last year, police arrested mules carrying methamphetamines in their shoes and underwear. They also stopped a pickup truck carrying 2 million methamphetamine pills buried under a pile of pumpkins. Ultimately, say Thai authorities, eradicating the drug trade in the Golden Triangle may hinge less on the arrival of democracy in Myanmar than economic development for the country, which is one of the poorest in Asia. The hope, Thai authorities say, is that traffickers will have fewer recruits if people can find other ways of making a good living.
Bass player Duck Dunn defined the sound of Memphis soul music. As a studio basis for Stax Records, he provided the bluesy foundation for classic records like Wilson Pickett's In the Midnight Hour Sam and Dave's Hold On I'm Coming, and a long string of hits by Otis Redding.
Oh, she may be willing.
Dunn was also a member of Booker T and the MGs, a racially integrated quartet inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1992. They had memorable hits like Time Is Tight and Green Onions. He spent the rest of his career performing and recording with noted artists like Eric Clapton and had a small role in the Blues Brothers movies. Dunn was on tour in Tokyo when he died early Sunday. He was 70.